Yo, 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 yo. Grace and peace out there. Welcome to that edition of The Reassembling. I'm your host, Jesse Walsh. With me, as always, is Mom. How are we feeling today, Mom?
I'm feeling good, but for some reason, my whole screen is not showing you.
You might have to move your cursor around. I'm not too sure on your end. But here
Yeah.
at The Reassembling, we cut through the noise, face the hard questions, rebuild with the truth of Christ. This is where faith meets real talk. And Jesus stays at the center, of course. This is your first time listening and something here moves you or pushes you closer to Jesus. Don't just watch from the sidelines. Subscribe, share, and grow with us. You do see now on our new banner, we have all of our fun platforms here at the bottom of the screen. I don't have to go through them. You can see the logo. You can identify. It's all in the About section on our YouTube page. But anyway, we have a fun one today. Shout out to the one and only Stevie Rankins. It's always first to beat the crowd. Can you see me yet, Mom?
No, give me a minute. You know, Satan's always trying to
No
mess.
worries. We will. I'll just keep it going. So we're gonna go. You guys see the thumbnail. This has been a long-awaited one. We've worked hard at this one. We had to keep putting it on the back
Oh,
burner.
you worked hard on it.
It's a big one. I'm gonna try to run through all the information. Try to get the slides. I have a lot of slides to show, videos, articles. We're going through some Bible. So we're gonna talk about, is America Babylon? Because we see this all the time on the internet. America's ancient. It's ancient Babylon. Hello, Miss Seeley. I think it's, if I got it right, Seeley.
I'm
Tell me I got it
having
right.
this issue again, Jess, and I apologize to our viewers because you and I literally were just talking on camera
Right.
to each other.
Okay.
And now it's telling me my camera isn't available, so I'm not sure what's going on here.
That's interesting because I see you just fine and hear you just fine.
Yeah, I can.
I think it got you on another. I'll have to kick you out of that one because I see you perfectly fine.
There I am.
Okay.
Sorry.
I see you perfectly fine. If I take this one off,
My camera.
if I remove you from here, I'm gonna remove you. There. How's that?
Well, I don't see me now.
I got it right. Okay. If you want to exit, Mom, come back in. We'll let you back in.
Sorry,
Probably. You're fine. You're fine. Yeah, it's probably just a malfunction. If you exit out and come back in, and then I'll still be in the room.
Sorry.
But anyway, we are going to be talking about, is America Babylon? I can still see you. I don't know if you can hear me, Mom. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, my son, but still saying I don't have my camera. So
okay, I would probably just exit, and you can probably come back in.
I just did that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I'll try it again.
Okay.
Jesus help us, Lord.
Anyway, yeah, we're just underway, guys. We're going to get this show on the road. We are live on Kick right now. We are going on Facebook, nice and strong. YouTube looks okay. I can hear and see Mom. She can't hear. She can hear me, but not see me.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, the stream looks absolutely fine.
Yeah, this has been going on for a while. Me and you were just talking. I didn't touch nothing, and something happened. So.
Yeah, that's weird. It's got to be. Yeah, definitely on your end. I'm not. Yeah, it looks perfectly fine from my end. I'm seeing you and hearing you.
I don't know. Go
okay.
ahead.
Yeah. So tonight.
Jesus help me.
Let's see what's. So tonight we're poking a theological hornet's nest with a stick, and then asking it politely why it's angry. You know, because somehow, somewhere along the way, an actual ancient city in Mesopotamia turned into the United States of America. Same Babylon that sat on the Euphrates, had hanging gardens, ziggurats, cuneiform tablets, and a very real address in what is now Iraq. That Babylon, that's the Babylon we're referring to. And apparently it packed up, crossed the Atlantic, waited a couple thousand years, and reemerged as Walmart, the Federal Reserve, and your uncle's Facebook posts. That leap did not happen accidentally. It has a history. A very traceable one, might I add. And we're going to take it from start to finish so we can have a biblical view of what Babylon is. We're going to be doing an overview of Revelation 17 as well. We're not starting with memes. We're not starting with YouTube prophets yelling into ring lights. We're starting where adults start, with the ancient world. What Babylon actually was, how Jews in exile understood it, how the prophets talked about it, how Second Temple Jews, early Christians, and the church fathers read Revelation when Rome was still breathing and America didn't exist outside of God's undisclosed long-term planning folder. Then we're going to watch the shift happen slowly, awkwardly, with a lot of bad exegesis and even worse history. We're going to see when Babylon stopped being a city, started becoming a symbol, and then somehow became a geopolitical test where everyone sees their least favorite modern nation. And here's the key part: we're not skipping steps. Mom and I are breaking down this together, piece by piece, like two people who actually like evidence. We like evidence. And we're not allergic to primary sources on this channel, by the way.
Right.
We're going to show how interpretations evolved, who pushed them, why they stuck, and what got lost in the process. You're going to hear the original arguments in their own historical context, not the TikTok remix version. Can't stand when they do that.
Yeah.
And even Protestants are getting worse with this. By the end of this, you're not just going to know whether America is Babylon. You're going to understand how that even became possible, why it sounds convincing to so many people, and why it collapses the moment if you stop reading Revelation like a Mad Libs conspiracy generator. So this isn't a rant; it's kind of an autopsy. And if you've ever heard someone say America is Mystery Babylon, I saw it 10 times on TikTok, and and if you see that and you thought that sounds confident but also unhinged, this is the episode you want to sit through. Okay. If you've ever wondered how scripture gets bent into modern paranoia without anyone noticing the snap, pull up a chair. So this does require attention. It rewards patience. This one might permanently ruin bad prophecy videos for you. So tune in. We're not time traveling. We're just going to fact check. And I did forget to pull this slide up. First thing we're going to check out is the what um, shout out to Kevin Benton, who has a YouTube TikTok channel, The Greater Works. He calls it the Trust Me Bro theology. And that's going to go through a bunch of Trust Me Bro theologies. So let's share those first. This is going to be good. Okay.
You can still see me?
Let me see here. I can hear you. I can't see you no more.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what's going on. My phone's frozen. My devil.
Did you leave the room and then come back?
I did.
Okay, let me exit you, then just try to come back. Something happened with mom. Seeley says. Before YouTube changed the usernames, I had an alternative spelling for pronunciation clarification, but I can't change it back. Sorry, I got it right though. Cool. I'm happy. I got it right. So let's go to some Trust Me Bro theology here. Stevie Rankins is going to love this. Here. So now we got a mixture of people and their ideas of Revelation and the Mark of the Beast, Mark of the Beast, Babylon. Let's see if that's a good one right there. Yes. Okay, first, you're gonna love this.
States isn't just a superpower. It's the mystery Babylon warned about in Revelation. But is that just a conspiracy or a prophecy unfolding? The Bible describes Babylon as a powerful, rich city ruling over the kings of the earth, a nation full of immorality, witchcraft, and blasphemy, a place that sits on many waters, symbolizing influence over many nations. Now consider America. It exports culture, entertainment, and military across the globe. It leads in wealth, power, and media, but also in moral decay. It's home to churches, yet full of spiritual confusion. Come out of her, my people, so you will not share in her sins. Some believe the United States isn't just a superpower. It's the mystery.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. Mom is hitting me on Facebook. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to send out a new link to her. Send out a new link, then we'll get back into some more videos. Invite guest. Yes, copy. And here we go. Send it to mom. There we go. New invite. All right. New invite is sent. Let her know. Okay. Sent. All right. Next one here.
Whoever came up with this little
Going up.
The only difference between America and Babylon is the name, not the spirit. In Babylon, the spirit of Babylon tried to close the church. That happened a few years ago. Tried to cancel the Bible teachers. We're doing that. Tried to castrate the boys and men. Well underway. And control every aspect of culture, from education to entertainment, finances, and politics. Is America the new Babylon? Of course, the spirit of Babylon's running the show. The only difference.
Interesting how America is the center of attention in Bible prophecy. God has only focusing on America. Things are going on in America. What about Nigeria? What about China? All the persecuted Christians, because that is a big attribute of the Antichrist. And this harlot that sits on the beast, she drinks the blood of the martyrs. So anywhere the martyrs are, could that be Babylon? Nope, it's America. It has to be America. Yeah.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
Full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Read verse 5.
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great.
Why did it call Babylon the Great a mystery? Because we've been lied to for so long. When we were in captivity, we couldn't read.
So it said Mystery Babylon on it, but no one understood it because the Israelites couldn't understand it because they couldn't read. That's a stretch. That's a new one. I've never heard that one. They couldn't read. You heard it. You heard it here first. The Israelites couldn't read. Could they read back when Revelation was? I don't get that. So Revelation, they couldn't read that Mystery Babylon. So how they know it's a mystery?
But we can read now. We can read this Bible for ourselves. And only the Israelites can put this thing together to show.
Only the Israelites can put it together. All right, we got you back on. There we are.
I love technology.
All right, let me run that back because this is a hilarious one. No, you're good. You're good. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, everything's groovy. Okay.
The IUIC wants to tell us who Babylon is.
Oh, of course they do.
I love this one.
Between America and Babylon.
Let's go back.
Is the name,
that brother.
not the spirit. In Babylon, the spirit of Babylon tried to close the church. That happened a few years ago. Tried to cancel the Bible teachers. We're doing that. Tried to castrate the boys and men. Well underway. And control every aspect of culture, from education to entertainment, finances, and politics. Is America the new Babylon? Of course, the spirit of Babylon's running the show.
That's interesting because doesn't the harlot who rides the beast drink the blood of the martyrs?
Yeah.
I see Nigerian Christians being persecuted, over 100,000. We touched on it
And
a while
President
back.
Trump bombed them on Christmas Day. I love this man.
And the Christians in China can't even have a Bible, but it's America. It's like we're going to see this because obviously is America Babylon. America has to be the center of attention. God is just like, you know what? Every nation is cool. That America is my primary focus. We got to stop doing that.
Thank you.
Stevie says, welcome back, Mom. Yes, welcome
Hi,
back.
Stevie. I don't know what was going on.
I don't know what happened either. I don't know. Okay, next one. Now listen to this. This is probably the worst interpretation I've ever heard about the Mystery Babylon.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
Full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Read verse 5.
Check this out.
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great.
Why did it call Babylon the Great a mystery? Because we've been lied to for so long. When we were in captivity, we couldn't read. But we can.
They still can't read. But anyway,
about them and the black race. These brothers need to stop.
they said Mystery Babylon on the foreheads, but they couldn't read it because they were in captivity in antebellum slavery. So the Jews for 2,000 years couldn't read. I see how there's the big gap there.
Well, they're the true Jews, so
They are the real. They are the Revelation 2:9 Jews.
Read now. We can read this Bible for ourselves, and only the Israelites can put this thing together to show you who is that Mystery Babylon the Great. It is America itself.
It is America itself, because I say it. So this is what, before you came on, this is what I think Kevin Benton of Greater Works, big channel. If you guys don't watch him, go support him. He calls this the trust me bro theology. This is all trust me bro theology.
Yeah.
You know that. You know, we've seen that. That's been going on forever. Like, because I say.
And of course, the white man's got something to do with this. You know, we can't do nothing, right?
Well, what's really interesting with IUIC's God is he's not even sovereign. So Esau
He's not a god.
thwarted a sovereign God's plan.
They think they're God.
Yeah, to have Esau thwart their plans. Busy working. He was busy, a busy bee working. Okay.
Us Edomites.
Some more trust me, bro theology. Then we're going to go into the actual history.
Okay.
They're going to let Donald Trump ass.
We're going to love this one, okay?
Where's your shirt, brother?
Might I remind you, pardon the French, okay? He's a swearer.
Yeah.
And by default, man, he is the last president of the USC, the United States of Earth, nigga. This shit is over with, nigga. That story in Revelation is about the end of the world. It's about the end of their motherfucking world. Yeah, wow. In Revelations, and the great beast, the 10-headed serpent, wasn't allowed to trade with anyone anymore. None of the merchants would trade with her. And everybody stood back and watched her sink, and they was like, oh, woe to that great beast Babylon, nigga. They was talking about America, nigga. Talking about, that's what's gonna happen. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. We good, though. You know what I'm saying? We good. See what I'm saying? They took this shit from us. We wasn't killing each other. We wasn't disrespecting our women. It wasn't like that, y'all.
Yeah, I know.
So everything we did, we get passed. That should get a pass. We was under spells, y'all. We was spells. We had been enslaved. That's what really happened. They put spells on us. They locked our DNA, nigga. They enslaved this nigga. They put drugs in the kid. All this shit had us at each other. Facts. This is a fact.
Wow. Nothing like
they gonna let Donald Trump
about the Bible while cussing.
Yeah, trust me, bro. He's the definition of trust me, bro theology. He is a preview of what I'm going to be touching on, probably, Lord willing, in a couple of weeks. Yeah, you're gonna love this guy.
Jesus, help us.
Interesting.
Lord.
So basically, a bunch of nonsense. That's an esoteric interpretation.
Wait a minute, I have a thought.
Yeah.
You and I did our slavery video, and we come to the conclusion no one has been more enslaved than the Jews. But somehow they're not victims.
Well, if you guys ever checked out our Jews in Exile video, it's a really good one. We went through the history of the Jewish people.
Yeah.
But I think as far as America being Babylon, pure assertion with this guy. Pure assertion.
And I've been taught that since being a baby Christian just at our old church.
Look at Babylon.
It's a common thing,
It's very common. We're going to find out why, too. It's very interesting.
Okay.
Now read the caption. USA Lem.
I can't take a brother serious with the beard and no mustache.
But read the text.
Yeah,
USA Lem. Okay. So it only works in English. Okay, that's one red flag. If your conspiracy and your tie-ins with America or whatever you're trying to do in Revelation ties in with only the English language, chances are you're reading it wrong. USA Lem. Okay. Let's really hear him out, though.
Okay. All right, y'all. So this is for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
So you know that we've been talking about that America is the real Jerusalem. America is Babylon. You don't have to believe it, but Satan counterfeits everything. Just like the cedar wood that was built or used to build Noah's Ark is only found in America.
Have you heard that argument yet?
Cedar wood.
The only the wood that was made, the gopher wood, that Noah built the ark out of. And that wood is only found in Florida. Therefore,
hold on, brother. It could only be found at Home Depot. We all know this.
We won't go into it, but this is what you call it's a word that's only used once in the entire Bible. We call it a homoteleuton. That's what gopher wood is. We can go into the origins of it. We don't have time to it.
Homoteleuton.
Homoteleuton. But anyway, that's gopher wood. It's almost as if, and this is what people do.
Yeah.
They say Memphis, Egypt. Okay, so the Memphis is in Egypt, but they say, oh, there's a Memphis in the States. It's not as if it was named after Egypt. You know what I mean? It's that stupid.
Let's connect these dots in any way possible.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That's this level of intelligence.
Just for an example, the red heifers had to be brought from America to take over to the counterfeit Jerusalem. Everything that God has created, the enemy has counterfeited and has deceived the nation, deceived the masses. That's his job. But like I said, this is
the devil's main objective was location. geography, maps.
Location.
No, I'm going to thwart them, and they're not going to know that it's really in the States.
For people that are actually vigilant of the times that we're in and what's really going on and who's running the show, like you gotta be, man, just here's another example. If you're not following my brother, Alan King Forever 731, yo, I'll tag him below. You have to go follow him. He has
I am not following Alan King 731. We're good. Okay. There's a lady on here. You're gonna crack up. Okay, she gives us all these new locations of Bible stuff in America. Watch.
What if the Bible took place in America and not in the Middle East like we've been told? Here is an updated summary of all the biblical locations in America that I know of so far. Let's start with Bethlehem, since it's almost Christmas. Virgin, Utah is Bethlehem. Ironic, right? Migdal Eder is Lamb's Knoll in Utah. Zion National Park is Zion. Springdale, Utah is the City of David. Hebron Town Site is Hebron. Colorado River is the Nile. Nevada and surrounding areas is Egypt. The Israelites came up out of the Las Vegas area and crossed Yom Sop.
So the Israelites,
they were gambling.
They didn't cross. So what river did they cross in Vegas? What is she talking about? They crossed the Colorado. So they went this way.
Dude.
So they went east and west, okay, and they went to Utah. They crossed through Vegas. Does she have?
She's got it. We can listen to this, sister.
I wonder if she even owns a map. Wow.
Summary of biblical lands in America.
She's definitely serious. Look at her.
I'm gonna have to follow her.
Nevada. Ayurveda Campground is Elam.
Oh, a campground
in Utah is Mount Sinai.
Utah's Mount Sinai.
Open Weep is Petra or Selah. Scorpion Ridge is Akrabam. Damascus is on Highway 80 and 191 on the border of Utah and
I'm on the highway to Syria.
The city of Utah is where Mount of Olives is.
The
cross and the tomb are in the Garden of Gethsemane, which is at the base of the Mount of Olives, called Gilgal Sculpture Park. Jordan River is Jordan River. The Great Salt Lake is the Dead Sea. Utah Lake is the Sea of Galilee. The ghost town Jericho is where Jericho was. Paul Bunyan's woodpile is the remains of the walls of Jericho.
Paul Bunyan's.
The Israelites crossed the Jordan River, and God miraculously parted the Jordan River, and they built Gilgal in the area where Mona Reservoir is today. Tower of Babel's in Banff National Park. Rome seems to have had its headquarters up in Idaho, maybe.
Rome is in Idaho.
I knew I didn't like Idaho potatoes for some reason.
Rome is in Idaho.
Roman potatoes.
Near Coeur d'Alene. Euphrates is Mississippi.
Of course.
Garden of Eden was...
No, Mississippi is Mississippi.
Was in Yellowstone.
Yellowstone National Park. Yellowstone River is Pishon. Platte River is Gihon. Ai, Bethel, Mount Gerizim, Mount Ebal are all up in the mountains west of Salt Lake City, kind of near Toole, Tooele, Utah, up in there. Gaza was somewhere along the Nevada-Utah border, just west or southwest of Hebron town site.
I see.
Kings Highway is 191. Eloth and Easy Gerber is kind of on the corner of Highway 163 and 191 in southern Utah. Arnon River Gorge is up in the Ouray area, O-U-R-A-Y, Utah. The Green River.
Utah.
The Roar River Gorge
Utah's
is
the
also
spot.
the Green River, kind of up on the border of Idaho and Utah. Moab is Moab. The border
Moab's Moab.
Moab is Moab.
Of Moab, possibly the Duchesne River. Edom is south of Moab, where Petra or Hovenweep National Park is, down that way. Syria started in Idaho, just across the Utah-Idaho border. I don't know exactly how far it extended and where it went, but it was up there just north of Damascus. The Great Western Sea or the Hinder Sea filled the Great Basin. Tarsus, where the Apostle Paul was from, was up in Idaho.
Okay.
Paul? What's Paul
Paul's
doing hanging in Idaho?
So that's a great example of someone who's completely lost, has no earthly idea what's going on.
So Utah seems to be the hub of all the
Utah was the spot.
And yet Mormonism rules. So I think the Lord is up there. Huh?
Maybe she's a Mormon. I'm just trying to be logical. Maybe she's a Mormon and she's kind of revising. Oh, just no.
Well, whoever believes in God is a Christian. Mormons are Christian.
Everybody that says Jesus. Beyonce is a Christian. Okay. Oh. Right. It's true. Okay, let's run through it. Okay, so
where do you find this
something?
stuff?
Isn't that wild? Okay, so these are the assertions. So trust me, bro. Theology is not going to help you. We're gonna do something that we haven't done in a long time. I don't think anybody's done this on the internet for a long time. Somewhere along the line, so an ancient city in Mesopotamia turned into America or Rome or the Pope or capitalism or white people for some groups out there, or the Federal Reserve, or your least favorite political party, right? And I just want to know who looked at the book of Revelation and said, yeah, that is about us. I don't, that's in a modern sense, that's how it goes. Right there, it tells me everything I need to know about modern prophecy culture. This show is not about dunking on, we're not going to dunk on people too much, but it's about ending confusion. And the only way to do that is to go back to the beginning, right?
And I will say once again, you can't read scripture through Western eyes. Why is this rocket science?
Yes, please stop doing that. So we're not going to go through YouTube. We're not going to. Our origins aren't YouTube. Our origins aren't TikTok or Cold War paperbacks with dragons on the cover. Okay, we're the beginning.
Dragons on the cover.
So,
all right.
Let's look at the chat. I want to give you guys some love in the chat, but I've got all these slides to go through. We're going to try to run through it.
Yeah.
Steve Rankin's got to get up early in the morning. Hardworking man. Please check the replay out, sir. Give us your thoughts and what you think.
Up to you and your family.
Grace and peace, man. Grace and peace.
Wow.
She says she's really close to Rome. She's already close to Rome and Seattle. So yeah, I mean, ridiculous.
That's hilarious.
Did you see how she was just said it with a straight face? She was just like, yeah, Damascus is it's on the highway, Idaho. Okay. Wow. Babylon. So let's start with the most controversial statement of the night, Mom. Babylon was Babylon.
That's deep right there.
I know, breathtaking, really. It's breathtaking. Babylon was not a metaphor. It was not a spiritual symbol. It was not a placeholder for future superpowers. It was a real city and a real empire and a real history, right?
Yeah.
Located in Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, ruled by kings like Nebuchadnezzar, who genuinely believed God was impressed by large statues of himself.
Right.
If you guys haven't checked out our Nebuchadnezzar video,
I like that one.
That's a really good one. We kind of go through his character and his conduct and the passages.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, it was.
So this matters because if you get this wrong, everything else collapses. Babylon in the Jewish mind was trauma, not typology, right?
Right.
So when we read ancient Jews said Babylon, they weren't thinking, oh, yeah, a global system of commerce in the future that has nothing to do with us. It's like so ridiculous.
Yeah.
So what they're saying, we look at Jeremiah, we look at Isaiah. Our city was destroyed. Our temple was burned. Our people were dragged away in chains. Our identity was humiliated. So Babylon meant exile. Look at Psalm 137. We don't have to go through it, but
captivity and slavery and
Babylon to them in the Old Testament meant loss. It meant everything we built is gone. They're mourning their temple, or mourning their homeland, their national identity. What does it say? Psalm 137 says, "By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down and wept."
Yeah.
And it can only have a literal interpretation of that. You can't say by the rivers of Babylon, which is going to be a future global conspiracy on New World Order. There we sat down and wept. Bible interpretation, Mom, drives me crazy.
I know.
So nobody writes that unless something catastrophic happens. This is not abstract. This is national trauma. And that trauma burned Babylon into the Jewish imagination as the enemy of God's people. So here's the rule. Important rule, okay? It'll save you 90% of bad theology. Ancient Jews did not jump straight to symbolism, okay? They lived the history. They remembered the empires. They named enemies. So when Isaiah prophesied against Babylon, he meant Babylon.
Yeah,
when Jeremiah,
but that's not to say there isn't some symbolism we're going to discuss about Babylon too.
Right, and what are we using to understand that? New Testament inspiration, right?
Mm-hmm.
I heard something a couple weeks ago. It says if it's not repeated in the New Testament, it's a prescription. If it's not repeated in the New Testament, it's a description. If it is repeated from the Old Testament to the New, it's a prescription. It's a good little principle.
Yeah, that is good. Okay.
So when Daniel cursed Babylon, he meant Babylon. When Daniel served in Babylon, he meant Babylon.
Yeah.
No one was whispering, this is actually about a country that won't exist 2,500 years from now. It's ridiculous.
Filled with white people.
That would sound insane. So let's so Josephus, and I should have went Peter first, but we'll go to Josephus. That's fine. Okay. He kind of ruins. I like Josephus because, and apologists use him a lot. He's not inspired.
Yeah.
But I think what Josephus does is he ruins a lot of lazy arguments, theologically, historically. So he's a good, he's a first century Jewish historian. Yeah. He lived through the Roman destruction of Jerusalem. That's a big one.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. He wrote to explain Jewish history to the Roman world. And when Josephus talks about Babylon, he doesn't spiritualize it at all. He says plainly, Nebuchadnezzar, and we'll show you a little bit of his. And this is just to, I'm not going to go through it all, just kind of show you how he understood it. So this is from Antiquities of the Jews. It says, now when King Nebuchadnezzar had reigned 43 years, he ended his life. He was an active man and more fortunate than the kings that were before him. Now Berosus makes mention of his actions in the third book of his Chaldaic history, where he says thus, when his father, Nebuchadnezzar, which is easier to say, heard that the governor whom he had set over Egypt, notice Egypt, he's naming areas, and the places about the Syria, just Syria, modern day Syria, and Phoenicia, so these are actual places, had revolted from him while he was not himself able any longer to undergo the hardships of war. He committed to his son Nebuchadnezzar, who was still but a youth. Some parts of his army sent them against it. So the point I'm trying to make with this is that he's not veering from any of the apostles' interpretations. He's very plain. Yeah. Nebuchadnezzar conquers Jerusalem, burned the temple, deported the people to Babylon. That's it. He's not demonstrating any mystery. He's not.
We're stating the case that Babylon is an actual place.
There's no prophecy charts. There's no America. There's no yarn from this person to this person and connecting the dots,
Right. Gotcha.
And why does it matter? Josephus represents kind of how educated Jews near the time of Jesus understood Babylon.
Yeah.
And around that time, it wasn't symbolic. I mean, analogous is a different thing, but symbolic.
Right.
But it's completely normal. And that's the point. That's the whole point I'm trying to make.
Right.
So if literal Babylon, let's take this off the screen. We're running through them. So if literal Babylon was literal and Jewish memory was literal and no one was thinking symbolically yet, then when does Babylon change? When does Babylon change? Kind of think the interpretation.
Yeah.
When
that's good.
A big point, Rome replaces Babylon historically.
Okay, gotcha.
So when we say Rome, when saying Rome gets you killed, we're entering into the first century understanding. Rome is in charge. Rome runs the world, an ancient world at the time, the known world, we'll say.
Can I just say something, Jess?
Yeah, go for it.
One of the main reasons why the Apostle John didn't actually use the word Rome, people would have gotten killed if he labeled Rome that way.
That's a good point. Yes. I read that. I read that too in my study for this. Yes.
I was like, very interesting, right?
Yes, there should be an eye roll emoji.
Yeah, I agree.
Understatement.
Right?
Yeah, because look, they're controlling trade. They control armies. They control execution methods. Do you want to be executed by Rome? Of course not.
Yeah, Rome was pretty darn fierce. We get that.
Oh, and Rome wasn't very friendly to Christians, were they, at the time of John?
What?
So you put that context in Rome, the hostility of Rome to the Christians. This is the environment where John is writing from. So
to me, this also reminds me of the Roman family code, which was the men rule, the wives have to submit, right? Paul couldn't just go against all that. Rome would have had a fit. So that ties into the whole hierarchy thing. Is that really biblical? But
yeah, good point. Shout grace and peace to the one and only In Context with Jim Green. Good to see you, brother.
Hello, Jim Green.
Yeah, I lost my voice for a couple weeks. Been busy. I'm back. I'm kind of raspy, but I can still.
Let me just tell our viewers something funny about you. Jess sends me texts days ago, and he's like, "Mom, I've lost my voice. We can't do the show. I'm so sorry." He's like, "Will you call me?" I'm like, "Well, first, you just said you lost your voice. Why would I call you?"
I was going to whisper it. Yeah, I was going to whisper it to you.
That was funny.
Yeah. So John is not writing a future-focused conspiracy manual, obviously. He's writing the persecuted Christians who are dying right now in his context.
Right.
So John does what every Jewish prophet does before him did. He uses loaded language that you just brought up earlier. So he's using loaded language. Takes the old enemy's name, he applies it to the new enemy. Babylon becomes code. Not in a when I say code, we're not talking to be conspiracies, not metaphor and abstract sense kind of thing. But in, like you just brought out, in the survival sense, we have to get a message
protecting his brothers and sisters. Yep.
Yes. So we'll give an example later. But so Rome destroyed Jerusalem AD 70. Rome burned the temple. Rome crucified rebels. Rome fed Christians to animals. So when John writes Babylon the Great, nobody in the first century said, I wonder if this is about the United States, John.
It's about Idaho.
It's about Idaho, where Apostle Paul's from. His hometown, Boise, Idaho. Okay, they said, "Oh, Rome."
I'm dying. Okay.
Stupid. Okay, I try not to be mean to people, but that was dumb. That is so stupid.
That was dumb.
So this was understood, and we know this because early Christians tell us. Let's go to 1 Peter. Perfect example. We go to the context of Peter and what he's meaning by his provinces where he's speaking from. Okay. So
yes.
He says, Peter, the apostle of Jesus Christ, to those who reside as aliens scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, Bithynia, who are chosen. I know we have a group out there that only cares about the scattered Israelites. But anyway, the point is, here is the locations. Locations aren't there just to be there, right?
Right.
He's saying greetings to the scattered through Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia. This isn't in Mesopotamia, but look how Peter ends his letter as we go to the last 1 Peter 5:13. He says, she who is referring to the church, who is in Babylon, chosen together with you, sends you greetings, and so does my son Mark. That's pretty cool.
Now, why would he say that?
Why would he say that? Code protection, first century context.
Wow.
So he sends his greetings. Peter, like I said, he's not in Iraq. He's in Rome. That's not controversial scholarship. That's consensus. Babylon had already become a nickname for the empire opposing God's people. So there's no future speculation. It's a present reality, right? You want to add to that?
This is why, well, let me just add this, Jess. This is why it takes time to study the word. And why it is so worth it. Right?
Oh, it is. Boy,
it is. I love it.
Yeah, does that make sense to the live chat? He opens his letter with the chosen from Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, but he ends his letter with she who is in Babylon.
Oh, I love that.
So we went from code. So we went from an ancient Near East enemy in Iraq to the Jewish people. It becomes code
a symbolic
because of the persecution Christians are under in the armpit of the Roman Empire. Okay.
So as we see just from this scripture, Jess, there is symbolism involved, and we will talk about that a little more.
Okay.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, that is good stuff. Okay. Moving on. The church. Okay, so now we're coming out of the New Testament. We go to the church fathers. Zero confusion. Okay. Now this is where modern theories completely fall apart, because if Babylon secretly meant America or secretly meant the Vatican or capitalism, Someone close to the apostles would have noticed and caught that, right? They didn't. So Irenaeus, writing in the 2nd century, explicitly links. Let's show, and I just did a quick overview of Irenaeus.
Mm-hmm.
This is cool. We'll do a little AI reading of Irenaeus. So this is how he understands it. So you can see the question up top. How did Irenaeus understand who Babylon was in against heresies? We know the context of this book during the 2nd century was against the Marcionites. So Marcion, the Gnostics, if you will.
Right.
Irenaeus understood Babylon as a symbolic representation of the correct Roman Empire or a future Antichrist kingdom prophesied by Daniel and John, signifying a powerful, oppressive, idolatrous system opposing God.
Mm-hmm.
Destined for destruction before Christ's literal return and the establishment of the millennial kingdom.
Yeah.
He viewed it as the seat of worldly power, spiritual deception that would ultimately be thrown by divine judgment, contrasting sharply with the spiritual new covenant established through Christ. Amen.
Yes.
So these are his other views. Symbol, we won't go through them all, but symbol of Rome, spiritual deception, prophetic fulfillment, literal interpretation.
Yeah.
He advocated for a literal understanding of prophecy, believing that the destruction of this Babylon would be a real historical event, not just a spiritual allegory.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the split, and there we can go off the rails on those two other disagreements with that. But the point is, it's not America. Hello. So we're not,
are you sure? No.
Not America. Okay.
Yeah.
That's Irenaeus. He's but think about it. He's discipled by Polycarp.
Mm-hmm.
Polycarp is discipled by John.
Yes.
So it's you can't call it a distant tradition. This is a kind of a theological proximity.
Right.
And that's important, even though we know the church fathers are not infallible, of course.
They're not perfect. Right.
Demonstrates the historic faith that we stand on and in interpretations.
Right.
We can always trace it. We can always trace it.
That's right. Amen.
But the whole point of against heresies, how he sees Babylon, no hysteria yet, right?
Right.
He's not pulling out a newspaper in Rome. I don't know if it's on a
scroll or
a scroll, rolling it up on the newspaper exegesis. Oh, this is being fulfilled,
Yahoo News. Yeah.
So up to this point, let me put this up here because I do have a PowerPoint. I got it all. I'm bringing all.
You're bringing all the receipts.
So the closing ramp to where are we now? Okay, this is what we just went over. Babylon starts as a city, it becomes an empire, then becomes a nickname for Rome. History agrees with that. Your church fathers agree with that. So if you see somebody on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, wherever, in public, oh, that's this, Babylon's America, whatever. Like, just bring it back here. Let's get grounded like adults, So what we're asking tonight, what did John describe? That's it. So that's all we're going.
That's it.
I can remove that now. I'm getting better at these slides. Here we go. We go.
Good. He's good. I'm going to hire you.
How good am I? So now we ask ourselves, where did the American idea come from, you ask? That's a good question, right? I asked myself that. I'm like,
I'm going to say from the evangelicals.
The American idea does come from the Protestant branch, unfortunately.
What?
Guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we know bad ideas, they don't just disappear, they evolve, obviously. Look at the pulse.
Unfortunately.
Oh my God. And the America idea does not come from revelation. It comes from later fear. It goes from power shifts, later theological sloppiness. That's what we call it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That's where things start to unravel. So
that's where hermeneutics go under the bus.
Yes, because when Rome falls, power shifts, the church gains influence. Think about that. Babylon needs a new face, right?
Yeah.
That's when theology stops describing reality, starts weaponizing symbols. That's where the Pope, he enters the chat. That's where Luther. So let's start with Luther. He lights a match, okay? He is not the origin of it. But I would say America would be influenced by it and wander off into prophecies that it's them, Once that door opens, it never kind of really closes. Look where we're at in 2026.
Right.
Yeah.
And, even as much as I appreciate Luther, I don't hold to everything Luther believed, because towards the end of his life, he hated Jews. It's like,
did he?
Listen, brother, settle down, you know?
Boy, did he. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's like,
cool.
yay. Yeah, you got to be balanced with Luther. Yay, Luther. No, Luther. What are you doing,
But to
Luther?
be balanced with any of these teachers or apologists or whoever, church fathers, you just have to be.
How dare we keep Luther in his historical context and the time he lived? No. We have to read into it, into my view. He agreed with me, you know.
Right.
Oh, my goodness. It's ridiculous. So it started as a city that broke God's people. And before we accuse the modern world of being Babylon, we better make sure we're not rewriting history to protect our favorite theories. So where Babylon gets hijacked, it gets messy. Okay. It's a little messy. Just a quick run through.
It does.
We've reached the dangerous part of the story because until this point, Babylon made sense, and it does make sense. Babylon was a city. Then Babylon was Rome, according to the apostles and the context they lived. Everyone knew it. Okay.
Yeah.
When you're reading a letter from John, reading a letter from Peter, we know what you're talking about. Everyone agreed.
Right.
And when everyone agrees on theology, it usually means someone's about to ruin it. Enter.
Right.
It's gonna pivot through history. It just does.
Derek Rose. Okay.
Oh my goodness. So yes, not all at once though, and we don't have time to go through all the history, but it's not clean.
Right.
But it does have political, militarily, culturally, and then we see empires fracturing. Rome falls. Okay, something strange happens. Christians don't know who Babylon is anymore. Okay, Rome has fallen.
Yeah.
Because Babylon has always meant the power persecuting God's people. So when the empire stops openly persecuting Christians and starts funding churches, the symbol gets kind of awkward, and they're just like, well, what do we do now?
Yeah.
So the church goes from persecuted to powerful.
Okay.
Christianity didn't just survive Rome, it inherited Rome. That's it. That's a big one. Bishops gained influence. Church structures became institutional. Power centralized. Wealth accumulated. And now the uncomfortable question shows up. If Babylon is the enemy of God's people and Rome is Christian now, then who's Babylon? It's like the mystery of who's Babylon. What about who's Christ? You know, that's one thing we've lost through history. Let's focus on, Jim brought it up on a podcast on Revelation. It's the revelation of Jesus Christ. That should be the primary focus.
Right.
My goodness, people get lost.
That's good, right?
We just get too lost and distracted, you know?
Yeah. It's not so much Jesus is returning to make all things new after he, battles the enemies. We need to find out who exactly Babylon is.
Right. But I think this is kind of where, around the Middle Ages, where we see symbolism start to drift. Because Revelation doesn't change. It's because power did, kind of thing, you know? So by the medieval period, Babylon stops being primarily descriptive and starts becoming accusatory. So Babylon becomes what you call someone when you think they've corrupted the faith. And once that happens, all belts are off, kind of thing, you know?
Okay.
Enter the medieval critics. Before the Reformation even kicks off, you already have dissenters. We have people calling out clerical corruption, financial abuse, political entanglement, moral rot. It's not like, not to rip on Luther, but a lot of people have this, they paint this picture like he's just sitting on a rock. I'm going to do the right thing because it's not moral. It's not the politics. This is the culture, the ever growing culture against the church. It's not like it didn't happen in a vacuum. You know, he's influenced by people who saw the financial abuse through the corruption. Jan Hus, 1,000 years before him, you know, or 100 years. I'm sorry, 1,000 years, 100 years before him. So they're doing to keep. They're not doing deep. Shocking, Mom. They're not doing deep exegesis on Revelation.
What? Why not? That's not important.
Because Babylon has become shorthand for this system is rich, powerful, and spiritually compromised. Yeah, that's important because now Babylon isn't just an empire; it's a corrupt religious structure in the eyes of the people.
Yeah.
Enter Luther. He arrives at the man who kicks the door off the hinges, kind of thing. You know, the Babylonians. Luther, he was not trying to start a movement. Okay, he was trying to stop one that had gone completely sideways. I agree with him on that point. And then Luther looked at the Roman Catholic Church. He does not see. He does not see faithful stewards of the gospel. Agree with him there.
Yeah.
He sees. There's many great movies on him. He sees sacramental control. He sees financial exploitation, political dominance, a church acting like an empire. Luther does what reformers always do. He grabs the biggest biblical word he can find and hurls it like a brick. He calls Rome Babylon. Ooh, that's a good one.
Uh-oh.
So let's show Luther and his presence.
Finest.
If you guys go to Luther, it is called LutheranFormation.org, the Babylonian captivity of the church. I'll just read a quick these two little paragraphs. Martin Luther stood before the Holy Roman Emperor at the Diet of Worms in 1521.
Diet of Worms.
A stack of Luther's books stood on the table in front of him. The chair of the meeting asked him if he acknowledged that these books were his, and if he wished to confess his books or recant. Luther, after deliberating for a day, gave his famous answer: "I cannot, and I will not retract anything. Here I stand. God help me." You know that whole she gave. What books was Luther pressured to recant? Among them were 3 key writings from 1520 that describe the specific types of reforms Luther called for. One of those 1520 treatises is the Babylonian captivity of the church. Yeah. In this book, Luther critiques the sacramental system of the medieval Roman Church. He summarized his thought on the sacrament and laid out that which is still the confessional Lutheran stance toward the number of sacraments. He only agreed with 3.
Yeah.
So the Babylonian captivity of the church appeared in print less than a week before the papal bull against Luther reached Wittenberg in October 1520. Both works were being prepared at the same time while Rome was working to prosecute Luther's heresy trail. Luther was putting the Roman sacramental system on trial.
Put the system on trial.
And he says right here, in the book, Luther accuses the Roman Church and the papacy of holding the church in captivity. As Babylonian held Israel captive, now the papacy was holding Christians in bondage by Rome's theology and use of the sacramental system. Interesting, right?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So now we have that understanding that it's different.
Oh, wait, I thought the Pope in the Catholic Church, that's the true church.
It's a true church, not according to Luther.
Peter was.
And the fire it sparked, so he wasn't alone on that understanding. Celia has a comment. If I was going to label any countries as Babylon, it would be all the countries that make Christianity and Bible ownership illegal. Yes. Yeah, we're going to get into it. Yes, we're going to get into it.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Good point. Very good point.
Yeah.
So what Luther is not saying, Mom, he's not saying Revelation is predicting the Pope, okay? And then when people connect the two, see, Luther sees the Pope as Babylon. Therefore, the Vatican and the papacy, any Catholic, are under the Babylonian spell. You can't do that. Let's not do that to Catholics, okay?
No, I don't support the papacy.
Right. He's not saying that. What he is saying is the gospel has been imprisoned the same way Israel was imprisoned, theologically, okay?
Gotcha.
So he's, again, an analogy. He's not talking prophecy fulfillment. Yeah. He's not.
And we did have a series on the Catholic Church where we do deal with all this stuff.
And I got my book here, The Catechism of the Catholic Church. I want to dig into it more.
Yeah.
But so according to Mark, so Luther, put Luther in his context. It's a theological critique. It's not end time speculation, okay? But here's the unintended consequence. Let's see if I have some. Okay. Once Babylon becomes a label for corrupt Christianity, it stops being anchored. Sadly,
right?
Anyone can use it anywhere for any reason, and now the symbol is officially unstable. After Luther, the floodgates opened. Reformers began calling the papacy Babylon, Catholic doctrine Babylon, church hierarchy Babylon. While many of their critiques are valid, and we talk about it a lot on the channel, the symbol keeps stretching, if you will, and stretch symbols always snap, Mom. They always tend
eventually,
to snap.
Right?
Yes. Right. Even our beloved John Calvin.
Well, he's not my beloved.
Our beloved reformed heretics, Calvin. Okay.
Yeah.
He was more careful, but still, he lit the fuse as well. Calvin did not obsess over Revelation. That alone already puts him above most prophecy YouTubers, so that's good for Calvin. But Calvin did believe the papacy functioned as Antichrist. Okay, so he believed as well. He lived in a sacral system So you were against basically his teachings. You're burned at the stake. So we look at it now and say, "Oh my God, what a horrible person!" And yeah, I mean, and by today's context and by anybody's context, but we have to leave them in their in the century and the timeline they lived, to get a balanced view of them.
And we also have to remember that the Apostle John talked about there's many antichrists, and the spirit of the antichrist is alive and well.
Absolutely.
Right? So
But Calvin, he believed he did believe the papacy functioned as antichrist. So he's kind of saying institutional opposition to Christ's authority. That logic naturally fed into Babylonian language, not as geography, not as future timeline, but as systemic corruption. So
yeah.
But the key thing to remember with Calvin, so neither Luther nor Calvin thought Babylon was America. Oh, shocker.
Right.
Neither one of them thought it was future. Okay. They treated Revelation like a crystal. They didn't treat it like a crystal ball. They were making present tense critiques. So up to this point,
we know Revelation is about the future.
Yes, we have some points. I mean, there's if anybody, that's why I was going to bring out this book. Check out this book here. It is called The Four Views on the Book of Revelation.
Yeah.
Can we still be brothers and sisters in Christ and have a different understanding of eschatology? I applaud the thought.
It's impossible.
You're
I'm right, you're wrong.
You're all millennial. I'm premillennial. I'm pan-millennial. It'll pan out at the end. That's how I see it.
You're pansexual.
Pansexual. Okay. So now where we at from early church fathers up into the Middle Ages in John Calvin and Luther's context, we see Babylon is now tied to power, corruption, compromised religion, institutions acting like empires,
oppression, right? Yeah, all that stuff.
And this could have stayed relatively sane until we hit the 1800s, and then sanity leaves the building. We get into the 1900s, okay? You're going to love this. So, 4 things that are very, very important in the 19th century. Revivalism. Big one. Frontier religion, especially the Reconstruction in America. Democratized theology. And absolutely zero accountability. Look how many cults started off in America in the early 1900s, right?
And no hermeneutics, no context, no culture, none of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, basically in the frontier of America, anyone with a Bible and confidence could start a movement, and they did. That's basically what was going on.
Yeah.
Let's enter into our new slide here. We're going to introduce this gentleman because if you guys are interested, go check out the SDA video we did on the Seventh-day Adventists. So post-Revolutionary War, 1844, Miller used biblical prophecy linked to the Babylonian exile to predict Christ's return. And later, the concept of Babylon became a key interpretive tool for his followers to understand their failed prophecy and differentiate themselves from mainstream Christianity.
Failed prophecies, huh?
Failed prophecy. So what do you got to do? You got to reinterpret it, of course. Duh.
Or maybe go, I don't think he's a prophet.
He could be wrong. Never was an option. Yeah, the guy's giving dates.
I'm a god here.
Guys, go check out that video. He gives dates. The dates fail.
Right.
And then they call it the Great Disappointment, which is...
The Old Testament says if a prophet prophesies something, it doesn't come to pass, right?
Yeah.
There's a test, folks.
It's so funny, and they call it the Great Disappointment, which is probably the most accurate branching in church history, The Great Disappointment. Yeah, it was the Great Disappointment, So instead of admitting error, followers do what they do the best. They reinterpret, they reassign blame, they spiritualize failure, and then Babylon is mutating again. It's mutating.
Yeah, what he meant to say was, okay.
And this is kind of where America enters prophecy psychologically. It's not because Revelation points to America, but because America is now powerful, which makes sense,
Okay.
We're talking industrialization, global trade, military reach, cultural influence. Suddenly people, they start reading Revelation through their newspapers like, oh.
Oh, yeah. Prophet Miller said this. Okay.
And that's always the beginning of bad theology. Enter Herbert.
Hubert.
Herbert W. Armstrong.
Uh-oh.
Who is Herbert W. Armstrong? I'm going to love this guy. Who is this gentleman? Who is gentleman say?
He's in Idaho.
Well, he was an American evangelist who founded the Worldwide Church of God, an early pioneer of radio and television evangelism. Armstrong preached what he claimed was the comprehensive combination of doctrines in the entire Bible in the light of the New Covenant scriptures. Skip to the next one, though. Here's the next one.
He's good.
Armstrong's teachings required observance of parts of the Mosaic Law, including Seventh-day Adventists, dietary prohibitions, and the covenant law, holy days. He also proclaimed that behind contemporary world events loomed various biblical prophecies interpreted in the light of what?
Oh.
British Israelism. So, Hebrew Israelites, you're taking your ideas from British Israelism. I'm just saying.
Oh, boy.
What does he say here? This is it's interesting how he reads. And this is from Herbert Armstrong. It's interesting how he reads things. Oh, I wish I could put you somewhere.
Actually, he doesn't read things.
He doesn't read. You're in the way, so I'm going to move you over. We're going to move us over here.
Okay.
Over here. Something like that. Yeah.
I like it.
We're little soikles.
Here's what we've been finding.
Yeah, he says, now, here's what we've been finding. Out of nowhere. We're coming into it. Listen how he reads America into it.
Yeah.
And into a time of national drought and a disease epidemic in the United States, we're going to be invaded. And we're not going to be invaded by the communist forces here. Now it's now at this time at all, but by a power that we least suspect, a power that your Bible reveals. And it's the power that will resurrect the ancient Roman Empire of 10 nations going together over there in Europe. And they are called under the symbolic name of Babylon in your Bible. Interesting. So we're reading America into this. He's an early progenitor of the interpretation of America in prophecy. Mm-hmm. America being Babylon. So he's one of those guys that kind of kept it going, right?
Yeah.
So Armstrong doesn't invent the Babylon equals America ideas, but he builds the framework that makes it inevitable. British Israelism, the whole lost tribes nonsense, Anglo-Saxon Israel, America as a covenant nation giving birth to the Christian identity movement. It's whoever threatens America's divine role or exposes its moral decay, you know. Armstrong's theology is complicated, but the effect is simple. America becomes eschatologically central. So we might have to do a book on a show on him. So you can see how easily Babylon slides into modern geopolitics without ever coming from Revelation himself. He didn't even quote Revelation. From the Bible. I'm not going to quote the Bible.
Right.
We have around the same time, a little after, the context of, for example, the geopolitical wars stuff, nonsense. We have the Cold War Book of Revelation Conspiracy Origins, so Cold War era Book of Revelation, linked to the looming New World Order, or the UN, secret societies, the Illuminati, Freemasons, global governments would fulfill prophecies of Antichrist and end times. You know, that's where you get all this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we only got like 20 minutes left, so this almost should be a part 2, dude. I think there's so much.
Do you think there's more?
Yeah. Don't you?
Let me wrap it up through. I guess we'll
just share my thoughts, and then
we'll have to make it a part 2. How you guys feeling about a part 2?
Yeah. Or just show my video or whatever, you know. What's your thoughts?
Well, yeah, because there's more. I mean, there is more. We're going to go into. I'm kind of just getting some groundwork on the whole idea that America is Babylon. Maybe in part 2, we can actually go through what Babylon is.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
What do you think?
Yeah, let's do that.
You want to give a preview? We'll share your video and give a preview of things we're going to talk about next week.
Yeah, we could do that.
Let's do that. So let me end it with, at this point, so this is where we're going to stop right here. So,
yeah, because I think there's so much, Jess, I don't want to just kind of skim over it. I want us to really go a little deeper and discuss this with folks.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think it would be really good because you've got a lot of good stuff here.
It is a lot of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just end it right here. Cold War comes, basically, is what I was talking about. Once nuclear annihilation is on the table, everyone suddenly becomes an end time expert. You got the Hal Lindsey, the prophecy charts, bestseller eschatology. I'm so sick when I go into Barnes and Nobles and I see a book on Revelation, and it's got a country on it. It's either got America on it. I just get disgusted. I'm like, no, has a history. It has a history of bad ideas. This is a compilation and a complete product of a history of bad ideas, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
So America isn't always called Babylon explicitly, but it's treated as the stage for everything, which quietly trains Christians to think if Revelation matters, America must be in it. So that assumption right there is the real poison.
Or we hear how much God hates America. God just hates us, you know.
Yeah, so let's play yours. Do you want to do part 1 and part 2? Or do you want to do part 1?
How long are the videos? I don't know.
Probably like 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, want to do both of them or?
Sure, let's go to part 1. Let me change our, I'm doing really good at this IT stuff here. Let's go here.
Yeah,
Look
I found
at
this
me.
interesting. I just wanted to show these to kind of, get people's minds, looking into this a little more.
Okay.
This is the truth about Mystery Babylon the Great. According to the book of Revelation, Revelation describes a woman sitting on a beast with 10 horns and 7 heads. This woman is described as wearing purple scarlet and is adorned in many precious stones. She is said to hold a cup in her hand filled with the abominations of the earth. She even has a name written on her forehead, which says Babylon the Great, Mother of Abominations. Now it is important to note that this is one of the few times in the Bible where the word says that this is a full-blown mystery. However, the purple and scarlet she wears is an indication from other verses that she's of royal descent, and the gold and the precious stone she wears is an indication of her economic power. Remember that golden cup. She is literally intoxicated off the blood of the saints. And what makes things even more interesting is the angel says this woman is representing a city. It is a rich royal city that has persecuted God's people throughout history. And guess what? You're going to be mad at me, but it is not the city of Rome. Follow for part 2.
What?
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that first one?
It's interesting. I find that very interesting. And this is why I want to have another part, because then we can talk more about symbolism and spirits and that kind of thing,
Okay, maybe I bit off more than I can chew with this one. I was really trying to
I want to get into that. You did great, Jess. We got to go on with
I was planning on a 3-4 hour stream, but it's good. It's all good. I forgive you. I forgive you. It's because you're a woman. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. What a jerk. What a jerk. Okay. No, you're right. You're absolutely right, though. So let's break this into 2. This will be kind of the history of all the stuff, the bad Bible reading, bad interpretation.
Good. Yeah.
Next one we will do is what is it to the best of our ability. I'm going to come from a perspective. 4 different perspective overview. One says this, one says, I think that's fair.
Right. I do too. I like that idea. So
let's go.
Part 2.
Let's go into part 2.
Mystery Babylon Part 2. Most people think Mystery Babylon is America or the Vatican. But what if I told you Mystery Babylon is actually Jerusalem? Revelation 17 describes a harlot riding the beast, seated on 7 mountains. But in biblical language, mountains often represent kingdoms, not literal hills, just like in Daniel's vision, where a mountain represents a kingdom that fills the earth. The harlot is also drunk with the blood of the saints. Jesus says in Matthew 23:37, "O Jerusalem, you who kill the prophets and stone those sent to you." Here's the key. To be a harlot, you first have to be in covenant. Israel was the only nation married to God, so only she could be unfaithful in this way. The Old Testament repeatedly calls Jerusalem a harlot, decked in scarlet, chasing foreign lovers, betraying her covenant. So Revelation isn't introducing a new villain. It's exposing the final state of a city that once knew God but rejected him. Mystery Babylon isn't about geography, it's about spiritual adultery, and Jerusalem fits the description perfectly.
Man, yeah. So we'll get into it. Break that down more and break it down.
Interesting. And let me just, how much time? Because I wanted to just have,
all the
can I
time
have
you
the
need.
last 15 minutes here?
Sure.
I found that interesting Okay, but critics are saying it can't be Jerusalem because the Bible does say that great city will be destroyed. However, we do see a new Jerusalem coming down from the heavens. So I'm not sure. Okay, but I did find that titillating. Okay. So I'm just going to discuss a little bit how Babylon fits both Jerusalem and Rome.
You mean Jerusalem? There was no J's 500 years ago. It's Jerusalem. Oh no, go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, so they persecuted the Christians in 30 to 70 AD. Jerusalem did, right? Who were the martyrs? Stephen, James, right? Okay. And this persecution was intense. We know that, right? Okay. And this ended with the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD, right? And the church was scattered. Okay. Now, if we think about Rome being this mystery Babylon, let's see here.
Right.
There was persecution under Nero. We understand that, right?
Yes.
And under Nero's persecution, Peter and Paul were murdered. So we know that, right? So it's interesting because you see Jerusalem is the first persecutor of the church. And then Rome takes over and becomes even greater in persecution.
Isn't that crazy?
Right?
Yeah.
Now, Jerusalem was betrayed as being unfaithful to God, that unfaithful bride, right?
Right.
And Rome became a system of violent opposition to Christ, right? So to me, and I won't go into more of that, I'll save that for later, but to me, I see Rome and I see Jerusalem, but I also see the spirit of the Antichrist. So it's like, it's not just plain and simple. It's not A equals B equals C. There's a lot. That's why I'm saying there's a lot more we got to get into and get our viewers to join us on there. You know, I'd love to hear our viewers' thoughts on these. You know, I'm sure some have studied it.
Yeah, because it's like that can't be just one location where this Babylon is, because everybody, I'm just going to stay away from that area. It's the spirit of Babylon. It's a system that rides the beast. I pointed out earlier. The beast is the politics. It could be the military. I don't know. We talked about the Antichrist years back. We were talking about his fortress, whatever. It's his military might. You know, that's kind of how I saw it.
Because we read there's millions and millions of soldiers, and they have red and yellow and blue, and people are saying, well, that's China's military. So there's so many things that are involved in this spirit of Babylon, I believe.
You know? Yeah, we definitely can't be anachronistic. Say, that's Iran because of their flag. It's like, well, that flag didn't exist during John's time.
Right. But I just find it interesting how people read into things, but I think a lot of people are trying to understand it. That's why I think Revelation is so fascinating, because it is a future, book, but it's like, I'd like to know some things too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I think next episode we'll pick up here. We will pick up and ask the real questions. We will start. What we're not asking, who is Babylon today? We're not going to ask that. What we're going to ask is, what did John describe? If Revelation only makes sense after airplanes, barcodes, and American foreign policy, then it failed the people it was written to. I think if we start there, right, we'll have good grounding. I mean, we're not experts on Revelation. I am in no way going to be saying I can exegete Revelation and go through the language
And before we started the show, I discussed that I was having a conversation with a friend recently talking about the Antichrist. I said, listen, the mark of the beast is not going to be a vaccine or a chip. It's going to be, there's something that needs to happen first before the mark is introduced. And that is that the beast is going to make all the world wonder by these supernatural events he does. And then they will literally worship this man. Then comes the mark.
Man.
So I think there's some things we can know for sure when it comes to the book of Revelation. And that's one of them.
Yeah, some things we can speculate, some things we can't be dogmatic because it didn't happen. I mean, how do we know if it didn't happen?
Right.
Okay, yes, I think we ran through a lot. Holy cow, it's already that over our time. But it's always a blessing, Mom, to get on these podcasts. I love our show and all the things we talk about. But yeah, this is a big project.
Yeah.
throw a lot in there, but hopefully people can watch the replay. Hopefully Stevie Rankins can watch the replay and tell me what he thinks.
Yeah.
And I encourage you guys to disagree.
People, whatever they've learned or what they believe, I'm open to that. I am fascinated what people discover about Revelation, whether I might agree with it or not. And I think once we start our Bible walkthrough, I think we're going to take some extra time on Revelation. I think that would be very, very interesting.
We'll do a chapter a year. Right. We'll come back. Revelation chapter 2, 6 months later. Exactly.
There's so much, but to me, it's fascinating. And like you said, Jess, you made this point so beautifully. It's the revelation of Jesus Christ. This is a hopeful message. He's coming back.
Good. Yes, he's still in this book.
Excited about this,
Yes, he is in this book. Because it seems like we get into the epistles and we go Old Testament, Gospels, epistles, and all of a sudden we're in Revelation, a whole other territory. No, it's been a consistent story of redemptive history. Right. We don't need to fear. We don't need to fear Revelation.
Yeah, and why would we not think Jerusalem is not in the center of this? Of course it is.
No, it's Seattle. Yeah,
it's Idaho.
Ridiculous. Okay, for next week, we're gonna, Lord willing, we're gonna try to get some podcasts out.
Let's do part 2 of this. Let's do part 2 of this.
Part 2. If you guys come back, we're gonna do part 2 where we actually talk about Revelation. We're gonna go through the text, early understanding, connect the symbols, and do the best we can, Lord willing.
Yeah. I think this was very interesting.
But anyways, grace and peace to all those who tuned in. Stevie Rankins, A No Man, Crucial, Hikari, Ku, VA5 on Kick, Sealy on YouTube, of course, and Out of Context, no, In Context with Jim Green.
Context.
Yeah, like Yachty used to say. But anyways, all right, so great peace, and we will catch y'all in
very
the next
soon.
one. Grace.
God bless.